Welcome to the Mile High Podcast. This is your host, Dr. Daniel Knowles. Thank you for joining us from wherever you are. I am coming to you from an altitude of 5,280 feet, where we look forward to seeing you join us at that higher altitude and vibration in Colorado in June 3rd to 6th. And remember to hit subscribe wherever you're watching this or listening, whether it be on iTunes or Stitcher or YouTube or Facebook or whatever, so you never miss any Mile High Tick. And today I am super grateful to introduce our guest, Katina Manning. Yay! Katina's joining us from Aruba. So we're spreading all over the world here now, and she's been swimming, as you can see. And thank you for joining us today, Katina.
It's a joy to be here, to share our gift with chiropractors and young chiropractors and old ones and our patients and people who touch and love to be touched and love to heal and love to learn the magnificence of their body.
I agree. And that aspect of the magnificence of the body is what we'll be talking about. And it's what I just finished up in my office and just love working with. So, and thank you for taking the time to be with us today. So let's get to know a little bit more about you. First of all, how did you find your way into this chiropractic world?
Totally by accident and divine intervention. When I was a kid, I come from immigrant parents, so we were always exposed to natural healing. You'd put a poultice on somebody, you would make an herb, you do something, you lay your hands on them. So when I was a kid, my mom would say, "Oh, your father has a headache, make it go away." And I'd say, "Oh, Mom, I just want to go out and play." She'd go, "Hey, it's done." Her belief and her expectation in me caused me to go rub my dad's head, tap it, pull his hair, pull his ears, do whatever I could think of as a child to make Daddy's headache go away. He'd fall asleep. Obviously, the headache must have gone away. I'd get to go out and play. Then it would show itself up in other ways. Well, actually, it was her belief and expectation, I think, that imprinted into me that, okay, yes, you will make her headache go away. Then I can remember being a little kid in patent leather shoes, and the old ladies would sit me up on the counter in the bathroom and go, "Oh, Katina, it hurts over here. Put your hands, Etsy, rub like this, rub like that. No more. Ah, bravo, bravo." So their training literally set me up. So I was the first girl to go to, the first child to get to go to college. So I was determined to be a doctor. Well, great. Med school did not touch people. We stood on the other side of the room, asked questions, and it kind of freaked me out. This was not healthcare. This was not healing and medicine, at least what I saw. Thank God a chiropractor had come to our school and he spoke. And as soon as he told his story, I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm going to go learn from this man. I'm going to work for him, something. So I started working for him, and then it rolled. So it was totally by divine intervention at an early age. And then thank God I met a chiropractor who spoke at my university and started down that pathway.
That's beautiful.
Trust divine intervention.
And it only is divine intervention. We just don't always recognize it. So, and at the same time, that's such an incredible thing, how just one touch of someone relative to chiropractic thing can impact, as we know, the lives of millions. So then this thing that you said, which is also the name of your practice, the Wellspring is within. How did this help you bring out that Wellspring, and why did you get so drawn into the Wellspring is within?
As chiropractors, and my own belief is that there is a source that flows from above down inside of us. It has to twirl around inside, and then it beams out like a high beam. If my energy is in and out with somebody, I'm going to get codependent and I'm probably going to get zapped. by allowing myself to go above, gather up that source, down inside of us, inside, it'll beam out. So the above, down, inside out chiropractic principle is such an easy way and such a logical way and such a nourishing way to live inside your body. And it allows a power and a wellspring to be nourished. If we look at the body as how it gets made, technically, if we look at it, we've got a pathway of spirituality, for example. We have a body, we have a mind, we have a spirit. We're living on a three-legged stool. If we look at spirituality, somewhere it was written that this great source scooped up a wad of dirt. So let's make believe we're this big power thing. We scoop up red clay, orange clay, all these different sources of the earth, and we build this piece of equipment. It's going to have the chakras. It's going to be a tensegrity structure. It's going to be a vibrant, minerally thing that has every possible medicine in the world because it came from the earth. Then it says it blows itself into us. I believe when this source puts that breath inside of us, it actually put in a perfect harmony. Okay. If the word becomes flesh and a word comes out as breath, and this breath or this prana, this source, whatever you want to call it, is coming into this clay, it moves. It has a perfect tone and it has a perfect harmony. So when it's moving through us, it's 3 ounces of energy. We know that because when they measure people when they die, all of a sudden, poof, 3 ounces disappear. That's a lot of energy. That's that source. That's that above, down, inside out moving in us. That is that breath that literally moves through the wellspring of every cell in our body. And embryologically, physiologically, scientifically, if you look at every cell, it has the potential to become any cell in your body. As chiropractors, we're in the business of potentiality. Our job is literally to wake up the potential light and energy and wellspring within the cells and let them do their job. Challenge them and let them grow to be exactly what they're meant and destined to be, to reach their potential. So if we're perfectly made and we have this perfect harmony that's inside of us, how come we get so screwed up? People will say to me. I'll say, well, I just kind of like today when I was walking on the sand on the beach and thinking about, all right, what are we going to talk about tonight? And I realized walking on the hard sand where the waves were integrating and smoothing it out and working the patterns, literally I could walk much easier. Up on the soft sand, I'm thinking, wow, when I'm fat and I'm fluffy and I'm swollen and I eat lousy and I'm fluffy like the fluffy sand, all the imprints of life, all those footprints that are tracked on me, it's harder to walk. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking, wow, this is very much why it's very important to work your body, to get adjusted, to be integrated, to be touched. It's so, 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 so necessary. So turn that off. I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay.
So that wellspring mm-hmm. of every cell are like the grains of sand. And we get trampled on, we get compressed, we get whatevered. We get it in our body, we can get it in our mind, we can get it in our spirit. It sort of dampens down the wellspring life force that's in there. Hopefully we do something to re-nourish those aspects of the human. Get adjusted, be touched, get reconnected, eat nice, have good thoughts, work your spirituality, bring peace to your mind, and let your chiropractor touch your body, mind, and spirit. Because literally they are like the waves coming up and they get all that sand all smoothed out and we get stronger and it is easier to walk through life and be supported by our being, the grains of sand, versus being on that soft sand. Oh, and it was hard and all the people's footprints were there and I had to go trudging through all their footprints. we're very much like that in life. And how the waves and how your chiropractor and how we help ourselves to heal strengthens us, reaches our potential, gets all my little well springs, all my cells to connect and communicate. So I love this body. I admire it. I support it. I challenge it. Okay. I love the way our cells embryologically are formed. If we're supposed to get a whole new body about every 2 years, what blood cells are every couple of months, et cetera, the whole science that we learned.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm supposed to get a new body every 2 years, and I have a couple of cells, they're starting to grow, and I've got some cells that are pretty beat up. Okay. And they're like, oh, we suck. My shoulder's bad. My life is bad. My cancer, my. And I have these new cells growing right next to it going, oh, what are we going to be? Oh, we're bad. We're sick. We're this. Oh, really? They say, okay. The new cells are going to become just like the ill cells because that same old message. Imagine you do some healing work. You have someone touch you and integrate this communication and take this old message that the cells are having and we improve it. We challenge it. This tough, brand new baby cell is going to go, oh, really? A challenge? I like it. I'll step up to the challenge. Don't worry, old, tough, sick cell. I'll take over. And it literally loves to take off like a horse on a race. So the message that we put into our body, whether it's with a touch or a thought or a feeling, oh my goodness, it's the potential. It's the potential of the wellspring that's already in there and all the new stuff that's coming up. We want to enliven those well springs and feed them and nourish them and bring them alive versus the old stuck, oh my goodness, message. Yes, it's, yes. I'm used to seeing miracles at the office. When I speak to people outside in the big world, if you want to call it, and they tell me their stories, I say, get adjusted. Your whole world will change. Your body wants to heal. Get someone to start touching you and work with you. Because every day we see these miracles. We see, oh, it's just endless. It's endless, endless, endless. I see it in my elders, okay, because I've been doing this for about 30 something years. And the people who have been getting adjusted for those amount of years, they're 90, 92, 95, and they're healthy. They're healthy because they've been getting adjusted all these years. I'm down in Aruba because about 8 or 10 years ago, they must have been 70 and 80 back then, would say to me, you've got to take care of yourself, Katina. Go on vacation, clear your mind, exercise, and because you're getting you're a little tired. In a nice way, they're saying you're burning yourself out. So I started to vacation with my 70, 80, and 90-year-old lady friends. Hence, I'm here in Aruba doing it again. And they have trained me to learn to love myself enough to do good things for myself and to feed the well springs and to challenge and to grow all the little well springs, the bazillions of well springs that are inside of us. It's amazing, isn't it?
It is amazing. And, I have so much joy working with people, serving people, seeing their lives reach that potential expression at a higher level. And I'm really grateful that you'll be sharing at Mile High this year. And as you know, as we discussed, we're talking about the art. We've never done this before. And I have to say, I am super energized about it, more so than I ever have about putting together this event, because we're all focused on the art and as the content, as compared to there's a philosophy and how to build your practice and someone else about science. It's all going to be, not that those other things aren't important, they're super important, but that we're all going to be focused on the art. And for me, that was the essence of why I became a chiropractor, because I wanted to be able to do this thing that I thought was so incredible, and it's in the doing that the magic comes out. So in first talking about the art of chiropractic, what inspired you in that area, in the art, or what or who really helped kindle that for you? And probably many people.
Yes, actually, truly, there are many, many, many. Acupuncturists, nutritionists, my first chiropractors were A.K. Thompson. Then later on, I met your dad and started doing, and I trained in network. And that blended so many of the things for me, along with acupuncture and waves and dynamics and meridians. Then I met Dr. Sue Brown and became, then I chased her. I wanted to know what was going on in her brain. So I studied and studied and studied and studied with her, and did her mastery program and started to teach with her. And because I'm really good at the osseous dynamic force, she almost talked me into teaching with her, because I would say, "Oh, Sue, you're way over my head in what you're talking about, and all this wave dynamics and quantum physics." And she was talking about this 20, 30 years ago. She says, "Adjust that person for me, Katina." So I'd put my hands on one part of their body, and she says, "Oh, okay, what's next?" And I'd put my hand in the next place. And literally I was following this track of tension up her body. And what she said to me, she literally put words, almost like longitudinal and latitudinal geometric words as to where my hands were touching. Once she proved to me that, oh my goodness, my hands are naturally and instinctually following this particular pattern, and she was able to put words to it. All I knew is the tone of the tissue needed to connect to the same kind of tone throughout the body. We chiropractors chase the dissonant tone. There's something off, and our hands would go, "Ooh, you need something there." And then we'd fiddle with it. The art of chiropractic, fiddling. And we move the person a certain way, we make them breathe, we apply whatever practices we know. And then all of a sudden, it starts to move. And then we actually start to move with it and help it to move through the whole system. So she was a huge influence in biogeometric integration. And from there, I found it really fascinating. And when she said, one is a single number, two is strong, but when you put three together, you literally create a pyramid. And then this pyramid, and she put up a tetrahedron. And what I realized is those four circles in that pyramid, to me, because I loved embryological study, I said, "Oh my goodness, those are the first 4 cells." So I looked a whole bunch of videos up and started watching the embryological development of cells. So you got this one, the boy and the girl get together, then they make one, then they make two. When the two become 4, it looks like a pyramid. It looks like what we call a tetrahedron, a 4-sided pyramid. That freeze link right there of a triangular structure like a pyramid literally divides again, and now I have a pyramid and a pyramid, and these two pyramids are doing this cellular movement, mitosis, meiosis, and their whole little dance. It looks like a star, looks like the Star of David. If you were to freeze frame those embryological cells, right there I realized, oh my goodness, these things that Sue has been teaching us about the tree of life, that we are a tree of life, and these patterns show up on the body. It brought me to the embryological development of these cells. And it just opened up a whole new world of excitement, and how these pyramids, if you want to call them, because we're anatomical, but if we break ourselves down into energy, light, and matter, we are a bunch of tensegrity structures, pretty much a bunch of pyramids that are like, they're moving. They actually have a tone. Let's take somebody with a headache. Their head, you can almost look at them and their head looks squashed, or it looks like it wants to blow up. And you can actually, chiropractors because we are attuned to the tones that a person emits. We might go, ooh, they must be having a wicked headache. The head looks like it wants to blow up, or it sounds like it wants to blow up, or it sounds like it wants to suck in on each other. Those tones are those geometric structures locking or moving. We get to help those things move. The amazing thing that I've always found, because I love being in a room with a bunch of chiropractors and I watch them all apply their art. They are musicians. They are musicians practicing violin and piano and whatever instrument they have trained in. But they take that and they literally tune up the human being or the dog or the animal or the child or whoever they're working on. There is a attunement, a tuning up of the person as that flow happens. People always get off the table and they say, oh my goodness, I can flow, I can breathe, I feel wonderful, I feel alive. They didn't realize that how locked down they were. Not breathing, and yet they'd come alive. So everything we learn as chiropractors, whether it's from school, from mentors or masters, and every experience that happens in life literally imprints our wellspring of knowledge. The more we integrate it in ourselves, the more we can find that in the person. And one big thing I notice all chiropractors use, we mirror. We mirror, we come into somebody's field and instantly we start to mirror, almost like a dolphin. And like sonar, we're picking up their vibes and picking up some of their thoughts or their feelings or their smells or their posture. And then from there, we start going, oh, let me find where they need me. And we go in. Every chiropractor I've ever watched does that. Their hands, like magnets, go to find the place that goes right there. Sometimes we twist it a little bit, sometimes we move it, sometimes we angle it, and all of a sudden the magnets stick. And our hand goes into that tensegrity structure, into that disharmony, disconnect, and we help life to come back into there, back into the wellspring. So we're all doing the same thing. We're helping life force, that chi, to move through the person inside this giant matrix and literally creating a field around them. What happens is when the outside matrix gets a little too rough and it literally creates cracks on the person's inner matrix, they can get depressed, they can get bent, they can whatever. The more this inner matrix strengthens and is integrated, it literally creates a boundary. And it literally gives us a boundary of health. So that no matter what's going on out there, in here and all the way out here, I'm healthy. I'm healthy and strong and vibrant and bright. Okay. Once again, we're a star. Okay. We're mazillions of stars in this body. Got to keep it lit up. So taking care of your mind, being happy, taking a vacation to be healthy. That's the best hospital stay in the world. People, I love the countries where you send somebody to the salt caves to heal, or you send them for a month to go get body work. In those countries, their people live a long time. That's healthcare. Our states, we don't have healthcare. We tend to have a sick care system. Thank God chiropractors are having to deal with that. But what we really deal with is the vibrancy that humans are. Keeping them healthy, integrating the cracks in their matrix so that the light that they are shines through them and shines around them.
And I love that, that helping people be in tune, that they're in tune with their song, that they're in tune to be able to receive the song of the universe, that they're in tune and that you're playing an instrument. And that when they're subluxated, when they're less than in tune, and there's dissonance in somewhere, that it's like they're in a one aspect of the frequency as compared to the whole spectrum of the frequency they can experience. You know, so now how do you see that how do you see that interact with stress? We talk about stress causing subluxations. How do you see that with stress and subluxation in life and being in tune or being out of tune?
So I'm a big matrix. Okay. I'm energy, light, and matter, and I'm a body with this wellspring going on. When I was leaving for this trip, at midnight, I slipped in my stocking feet with my heavy suitcase and bump, 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 bump down the stairs. Okay. I let myself go free and loose. So I had to let my mind just let myself go nice and loose. And I literally felt my body, felt my sacrum crack. I felt my certain vertebra crack through the whole thing, felt the wave go through. And instead of staying in my analytical mind going, ooh, that probably cracked that vertebra and cracked that one, I went, no, you are light. You are flow. Move the energy through. And I literally sat there and wiggled like a worm for quite a while and breathed deep. Other than a hematoma the size of that on my butt, I'm fine. Today, walking on the beach, I was getting a little stressful. What are we going to talk about? I want to do a good job. And so I'm walking the beach and thinking about different things. And then I plopped myself down in the sand to lay down. And because I was uptight, and when I sat on the sand, oh my goodness, I remembered that I got a big old bruise on my butt and my sacrum and blah, 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 the pain. I started to laugh at myself because I allowed my matrix to get uptight. I let my thoughts make my matrix get uptight. So that when I did something simple as, oh, I'm going to sit in the sand, I shocked myself and I had to go back to I am flow. I am peaceful. I am healing. I'm dynamic. So I literally have to talk myself into health. When I allow the stress, whether it's my thoughts or it's the outside world, to make me be rigid, my tensegrity structure, my flow will resonate harder, more stuck. So I see us like cracks. Okay. If I'm rigid, I'm not going to be able to take a stress load. If I'm in flow and I'm connected to myself, I can take a stress load, whether it's emotional or physical or even spiritual. With stress, a big thing is to be aware of it. I play this game with my patients. I teach them ABCs. Be aware of it. Get aware. Aware. Oh, that hurt. Okay. Be and breathe with it. Oh, okay. Conscious choice. What are you going to do? Oh, I'm going to just wiggle and I'm going to breathe and I'm going to say, thank you that I can sit on this beach and wiggle my butt and move that hematoma thing around. So, yeah. Get back in the ocean and start swimming some more. So stress is stress is always going to be there. Okay. We can use it to help us grow. Stress is there to challenge us, to literally to give us a choice. What are you going to do with it? Are you going to let it crack me and make me down and create poor decisions and stress eat or stress drink or stress something? Or I go, oh, okay, I'm aware of you, sucker. I'm going to be and breathe with you. Whether it's a mean person or a fall down the stairs or whatever it may be. I'm going to keep breathing. I will not lock my breath. Remember, that's our prana. That's our source moving through. And then I always have a choice. I have a choice. What am I going to do at that moment? I can stay rigid. I could get angry. I could do this, or I could go, ooh, I'm leaving this situation. or I might say something different, or I'll lay on the beach and do my yoga stretches. The stress is literally there to help us grow. It's like the chicken coming out of the egg. If that little chicken doesn't have the stress and it's forced to have to push its way out, it's not going to grow. It's not going to survive. So our job is to take the stress and use those forces for our growth, for our development.
Right. Right. Yes. So true. And that also involves us being open to possibilities, our ability to make choice, right? Our ability to be present with what we're experiencing versus disconnected with our experiencing, because we can then autopilot and not realizing that we're stressed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you believe we are perfectly made?
I believe we're perfectly made because it goes right back to we're a body, mind, and a spirit. And this body can only function if it has a spirit, a prana thing going through it. And again, it got perfectly made. It's scooped up from every possible element. Everything that's in the earth is inside this human body, and it's perfectly made. The perfectness is because of when that breath comes into that human being, comes in as perfect harmony. How it plays through the pipes, if you want to call it, how it plays through the organ, it has music, and it literally expands and contracts, and it is made of perfect harmony. We actually you can almost sometimes hear unhealth. I think every mother knows it. Okay. She's washing the dishes and her husband comes home, or one of the children come home. She doesn't even look at that child or husband, but she can feel like, oh, they had a rough day. There's a vibration that's given off when we are in dissonance, when we're out of harmony, when we're kind of hurting. Okay. And on the antithesis, when someone comes home and they're all happy, you don't even see them, but you're washing the dishes, you can go, oh, there's joy in their vibration. We hear it, we feel it, we resonate with it, and we can actually magnify it. And we can literally magnify it. The more harmony we tune up, the essence is perfect. The essence of who we are and the harmony that's flowing there is absolutely perfect. Does it get a lot of cracks? Does it get out of tune? Do the wires get too tight? Does it miss a few keys? Does it snap a few of those things that you see on guitar strings? Yeah, it does. The more we tune it up, the harmony comes back. So, yes, we're built of perfect harmony. We keep tuning it up. The harmony will continue to flow in us. And why not live to 140 years old healthy? Technically, we're built for that. So, harmony.
So this brings up a new question that I think is going to be very fun to hear our conversation on this, which is then what happens when we're around more people that are in harmony and there's more of the world that's in harmony?
Imagine you're one little light beam, okay? Your lights get turned on, you start shining. You have one little light in a dark room. What do you see? You see that little light. Then if you put a whole bunch of people together and they're all just a bunch of little light beams, we literally become a high beam. Okay? And then
I love that.
we literally are a high beam. And imagine you're standing up there up in heaven and you're looking down and going, oh, I see these little threads. And then we get together and we magnify love and kindness and health and all the good things that are built of harmony. It's literally creates a harmony, and it creates an imprint. We've all gone into a building and you go, oh, it feels so good in here. Oh my goodness, it's magnificent. And then you go to places. I was in Johannesburg last winter, and I went into a prison. Now it's a museum, but it was a prison during apartheid. And as soon as I walked in the gates, I almost started to convulse and puke, because the sensations and the imprints that were still in this courtyard were so ugly and so violative that it made you want to cry. And so whatever imprint we give out and leave in an area, it stays there. Okay. It's like when someone goes to Auschwitz, you almost want to convulse in pain over the imprint feelings that you still sense.
Yep.
Yeah, it's harmony and disharmony. Harmony brings light. A lot of harmony brings high beams.
And I think there's something important there. People talk about the body storing tension, storing trauma, and so on, and somaticizing, and that and when people do that, it makes it sound like the body only remembers bad stuff, but the body remembers the good stuff too. It's like, having a memory of when they were in you mentioned Auschwitz, or in something where something bad happened to them. People also have things swell up when they go to a place that they had good things happen to them, and their body changes relative to that as well. And so their body's a source of not just the distress, but also of joy, right? And the more they're in harmony.
The prefrontal cortex, sort of like the eyeball, the third eye, if you want to call it. Mm-hmm. So it comes in, and it can pretty much go to the left or to the right. It can go down the old grooves of, oh, life stinks. Oh, I don't have enough money. Blah, 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 blah. I got sickness. I got blah, blah, blah. And I bump my foot and I go, yeah, see, it's one of those bad things again. Or I make a choice that instead of sending all my messages down the old grooves, down the old pathways, I go, oh, wait a minute. That wasn't that bad. Oh, I flew down the stairs. My body can heal. I create new pathways to fill up those old grooves with a greater, better, healthier, more dynamic belief, expectation, encouragement, pathway. Literally a new pathway in the grooves of my brain. So,
and I have to tell you, this conversation is a new pathway. It's going to be a new pathway for many people. And it's going to be, and I'm so thrilled to have you join us at Mile High, and that everybody there, all the different presenters and different perspectives, from multiple perspectives of this thing we call chiropractic, sharing their heart about the art, is going to be phenomenal. It's going to be, I had so much fun on this conversation with you. I know we're going to all have so much fun with you there and with everyone. So I'm grateful for you to be there. Is there any last thing that you'd like to share with everyone?
Come learn, come share, come be in the vibe. Okay. When you start to put a whole bunch of, call them old masters, and people of higher vibrations, all those little light beams, what if we start putting a bunch of high beams together? Mm-hmm. And then we bring in more and more and more. The vibration and the resonant tone that we will be emitting together not only is going to flow through all of us, it's going to be imprinted into our cells. So then when we go home to our practices, unknowingly, that wisdom, that perfect harmony, that attunement literally is inside of us. And it's going to get multiplied in those when we go home and start touching our people. The Mile High event, especially now with this whole COVID dance, this is so necessary, Daniel. Mm-hmm. I thank you with all my heart for pulling everybody in and bringing this together and offering it to the world so that we can remember and keep igniting the magic that chiropractic is, because it is magical.
And I love that you said it that way, with remembering and igniting, because that's the why, So thank you so much. And thank you for joining us. And remember to know where to be in June, be in Mile High, be in a higher altitude, raise your vibration, bring that back and raise the vibration of your community, and impact more lives. You're crucial to the evolution and transformation of the planet, and you can do that when you're in tune. So we look forward to having everyone there. And again, remember to hit subscribe so you never miss any Mile High Tick. Katina, thank you for being here today while you're in Aruba, hanging with us. I know people are going to love this episode and they're going to love seeing you at Mile High.
I appreciate it. I look forward to being with you all. Thank you for putting this event together. Bless you, Daniel. See you soon.
We'll see you all there, milehighchiroregistration.com, and clear your calendar, grab your seats, and keep changing spines and lives and minds with chiropractic.